Ladles, jelly spoons, baby bells, and gemstones. Welcome to episode 10 of The Grind. 5 more to go, and we're at the end of the series already. Now, as you can clearly see from the title, this is a friendship special, ladies and gents. Alright? Where we're literally going to discuss simply that. Friendships. And how the feelings of betrayal, the feelings of validation, and the overwhelming feeling of guilt when things go wrong really are quite real. I think it's important because genuinely nowadays, I think the values of friendship are really being lost. Bear with me, guys. Alrighty. Oh, so ladles, jelly spoons, baby bells, and gemstones. That is what tonight's show is going to be about. I think it's important that the real values, the real morals, and the real reason of friends gets hit home tonight. So, for example, a lot of you will hopefully take away some things from tonight's show. Because it's more difficult, I think, in this day and age, to have those real meaningful, deep friendships than ever before. Elizabeth Short, hello, welcome back to the channel. I recognise your name. Unfavor, hello. Or Unfav Roblox, sorry. NWC, in this day and age, we need more flat mooners. No, we really don't. Nice beard. Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate you. And then, hi, bro. Hello, guys. How are you all doing? But yes, this is your friendship special, ladies and gents, right? And normally on the grind, we cover some really deep and meaningful, like, topics, etc. I'm from Iowa. Nice. Very nice. Where are you from in the UK? We are from the Midlands, my friend. Hello, all of you lovely people. So yeah, literally, like, the morals and stuff behind friendship nowadays seem to have completely disappeared, right? For the simple reason that, like, if you're constantly seeking validation, if you're constantly seeking to have, like, that person in your life, or you're always, like, chasing that person, is that really friendship? I'm from the UK too. Sweet. Whereabouts are you from? We're from the Midlands on this channel. I mean, they always say, don't they, that you can always count your best friends on, like, 5 fingers. And it's so true. Because let's face it, like, it's all very well and good, the people that are around you when everything's going your way. But what about the people that are there for you when the shit really hits the fan? Because it's, especially in the day now of, like, social media. Alex, welcome back to the channel, my friend. You know, with social media and stuff, like, it's made friendships, and especially dating, so much harder. Because the access to other people is stronger than ever. Now, yeah, okay, when you're at school and this sort of stuff, you know, you make friends and etc, etc. And very few of us actually, like, retain those friends right through to adulthood. If you do, you're really lucky. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. There's still a lot of friends that I went to school with. And thankfully, we're all still friends. And we still keep in touch, etc. If you're constantly having to seek validation or almost beg for that person to be in your life, or those people to be in your life, then actually, sometimes it's better just to let them go. Because if you don't, you'll find yourself constantly giving all you can, or doing everything you can to please someone, bending over backwards. And in reality, you're just being taken for a mug. Can you please shout me out? Zoe Martin, hello to you. We'll shout you out even more if you like and subscribe to the channel. How about that one? So, don't always try and be too nice. Don't always say yes to people. Don't always be that, like, that doormat. Because in reality, the more you say yes, the kinder you are, the more you care, the more truthful and honest and genuine you are as a person, the more you'll be taken for a ride. And there comes a point where you have to say no. There comes a point where you have to turn around and go, look, I'm not doing that shit for you no more. Like, you need to start giving something back to me. I've done enough for you for so long. Now it's your turn. Prove your worth. Show me what I am worth to you. And that is one of the critical morals that is really wasted in today's society. Like, gone are the days where, like, it was a case of, like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. That doesn't happen now. And it really shocks me that actually, in reality, we have just become, like, literal doormats to people. And it scares me, guys. Because it's kind of like, why? Well, at what point did this world turn up to be so shit? At what point in life did someone just flick that switch and be like, morals don't count no more? You know, honesty, respect, integrity. Like, they're just words. They're words you can find in a dictionary. But in all honesty, who the fuck's got a dictionary in this day and age? Like, but what has happened to respect? You know, since when did it become a thing for, like, people just to use and abuse people left, right, and centre and think it's acceptable to do so? Because I, for one, don't think that shit's acceptable in any way, shape, or form. Like, if I'm nice to you, if I'm kind to you, if I spend my time with you and spend effort, energy, money, or whatever to be with you and spend time with you and do things with you, do the same back. Like, it was, as far as I'm concerned, it's never actually become, like, uncool to be nice to someone, or for things to be give and take. But it's also the same when it comes to, like, friendship circles and stuff like that, right? Why is there always that one person in that friendship group who just likes to stir the pot constantly, right? Or they'll see a situation or a scenario. They'll put 2 and 2 together and come up with 12. And then start firing around accusations amongst them people and being like, oh yeah, I thought this was a situation, blah, 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 blah. But clearly that's not the case. Like, when did that become cool? When did backstabbing become, like, a mainstream part of, like, everyday life? More to the point, who's allowed for that sort of shit to happen? Like, this is the whole point why we do the grind, yeah? It is a chance to get these sort of subjects out there in the mainstream domain. Because I'm sick to death of issue anti-fascist. No, not at all. But when did it become cool to be disrespectful? For manners just to be switched off? Like, at what point in life did that happen? I personally think it was COVID. Because during COVID, everyone got so wrapped up in their little bubbles and became so solitary for so long. The art then of like going into a friendship circle or being part of a friendship group or whatever kind of got wasted on so many people because we weren't used to socializing. Like, look at kids who are born during COVID. Like, their social skills are far, far less than what like other children who weren't born during COVID are. And it's worrying because those kids are our future. Yeah. The next generation are the ones to see us through however many years in the future to come. Right? And that's a worrying principle to think that most of them have got no social skills at all. So, for example, like Alex says, I feel like it's hard to find people that are as respectful and stuff anymore. Exactly, this is the point. Like, it's become so easy and so, like, drummed into people just to take from people that are prepared to give. Like, when did that become a thing? When did that become an acceptable way for society to run? Because I don't think that's right. And genuinely, like, it has become mainstream in all walks of society nowadays to just literally, like, a lot of people just take people as doormats. Why? Alex has just said, I feel like there's a lot of people that are now disrespectful and stuff. Yeah, they are. Because morals aren't a thing. It's almost like that part of like humanity has just stopped. Or you have those people, those content creators, or people online, for example, who want to do like the do good everyday thing for society and out on the street, etc. But they want to do it when the cameras are rolling. Why? Why do you need to have that level of gratification to show that you're going to go and give money to the homeless? Right? Now, I'm going to cast your minds back to September last year, right? And the video for this is on this channel to prove I'm not lying to you guys, right? But myself and your two cameo presenters, AD and Liam, we did a McDonald's mukbang style video, or the epic McDonald's challenge is what we called it, whereby we spent £120 buying burgers and all this sort of stuff from Mackie D's and try to eat as much of them as we possibly could. But we seriously overbought way too much food, and it got to a point where we could not finish it all. So instead, we handed it out to people. Now, whether that was work colleagues of Liam or homeless people in the street, we still did it, right? Except you guys didn't actually see that part of the video. You may have heard it, you may have seen in passing certain things, right? But at no point did you actually see things being handed over. Because at the end of the day, why? There's homeless people in my town right now who turn around and go, you're that YouTube guy, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah. Like, mate, I still can't believe you did that. I'm like, dude, I'll do it again one day. I don't know when, but one day we could do it all over again. And if we go and hand things out to people on the street, we may end up handing them back and go, they are. Wouldn't show their face. And it'd only be whatever's left over. But would it be on camera? Probably not. Why? Because that sort of validation's false. And it gives a really wrong perception to the rest of the world to go, oh, do you know what? You can do nice things providing you've got a camera for validation, so you can upload it to TikTok or to YouTube or wherever. Whatever happens, just being nice for the sake of being nice and doing decent things for decent people, decent things for vulnerable, less fortunate people than yourself, just for the sheer hell of it. When did that stop being a thing? When did the whole world have to revolve around constantly looking for validation from people who class themselves as your friend, whereby you can go anywhere, do anything, but actually, if those people are draining you, or they're making you constantly have to look for validation in the things you're doing or the conversations you're having, etc., with those people, they're probably not the right people for you. And there comes a time when you have to take a step back. You have to walk away and go, I can't do this anymore. There comes a point when you just have to be like, right, you know what, you're not good for me. And yeah, fuck me, does it hurt? Especially if you are that person who's given all the time, who's using their energy, using their time or whatever to try and make that person like respect you. When you do walk away, it hurts. Of course it does. Because a chunk of you's missing. But in the long run, you are going to be so much happier for it. Because morals have left the chat. It's that simple. Morals, decency, respect, and just everyday normal kindness just do not appear in everyday life anymore. You have those friendships whereby you think that like that person's your friend, but then you hear from behind closed doors that actually that you're being slagged off to the hilt by those people. Well, are they friends then? No. Cut them loose. Let them go. If they come back to you, then clearly they were supposed to be in your life all along. But watch those people. Those snaky people. Like I was saying earlier, there's always that one person in every friendship group who likes to cause a bit of drama. Who likes to go around and just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to see how much shit I can cause today. Again, as Alex has said, where have all the nice and respectful people gone? I found some nice and respectful people on Roblox. Some of these people are my online friends. But they're so hard to find nowadays. Minifan says Quandale Dingle. Hello. And Harry Twinkle said hi. And then no, Harry Twinkle, don't tell Blue to shut up. Because he's actually right. It's really difficult to find those respectful people. It's really hard to find those genuine people that actually want to be your friends. Minifan, what does UWU mean? But I'm sick to death of having to like constantly double check my so-called friends. Just in case they are yet again going to use and abuse. And that's also where you start testing people. Like you start testing like the connection or the friendship or the morals that person has. Because you'll drop something in the conversation just to gauge their reaction. If they get pissed off by what you said, then you're kind of thinking, okay, maybe I got that wrong. I am vaping, yeah. Because they're nice. This flavour is actually banging. But honestly, like, this is also why I find specifically like the community in which this channel is based really important. Because actually, isn't it about time we showed respect? Like, as you'll see on this live stream, if someone in the comments is disrespectful to any of my moderators, any of the team, they get kicked. Because it shouldn't be like that. Alex says that was horrible to me. They are problematic people. I swear I've heard their name in YouTube videos, but it might be a different Harry Twinkle 2929. Trust me, if it happens, you have my full opportunity or my full respect to go kick them. It's not a problem. Break that vape, no, because they taste nice and they cost money. What'd you rather do? Sit here smoking? But genuinely, guys, right? Don't get used. Don't be walked all over. Don't be that person who gives 110% of everything you possibly can just to get nothing back in return. Don't love too hard. Don't care too hard. Don't be everything you can possibly want to be for the wrong people. Because otherwise, one of these days it will come back and bite you in the arse. And I don't want that to happen to any of you guys. Like, for all of my subscribers, all 543 of you, you're all important people. For the ones that have been there from the absolute get-go, or the moderators that have been there from the massive start, the cameo presenters that have been there from the start, we work so hard to make sure we have the right people on this channel. And as soon as we start to wean out and realise that actually some of these people aren't the right people, that's when they get told to go away. Or you walk away from them. Or you take time out from them. Or you're very selective about when you do or don't use that person in a video. $80, all right, buddy. I've put Harry Twinkle in timeout because they're rude to me. Yeah, man, you carry on. Galu, bonjour. Or 80, the clues in the title, mate. So genuinely, always be very careful. If you start feeling like you're being used, if you start feeling like someone's disrespecting you, don't be like, don't listen to those people that either go, oh, it's all in your head, like, you know, you're blowing things out of proportion, etc., etc., etc. Because 9 times out of 10, right, they're the ones that are most dangerous. I see. Hello, mate. Or the ones who turn around and go, oh yeah, you're like, you know, you're wrong about that person. Are you? Because in my life, a lot of the time, I trust my gut. If you get that gut feeling about someone that something ain't quite right, or something they told you is not quite believable, then it's just time to go, right, fuck you. Because once you've been used once, or twice, 3 times, 5 times, yeah, it makes the future of friendships really difficult. Same with dating. If you get used, cheated on, even once, or even twice, it becomes so difficult. Because, let's face it, let's say you have like 3 or 4 relationships over the space of several years, and each one ends in you being cheated on. By the time it comes to that 4th relationship, you're expecting it to happen. So you give off that negativity. You give off that persona like it's going to happen. Or like, for example, you'll get that gut feeling that maybe it has, so you'll confront them, and the reaction is kind of like, well, do you know what? If they're going to carry on accusing me of that, fuck it. I'm just going to go and do it. And this is the problem. It does suck. Because there's nothing worse than having that negative aura. But it's also a really difficult one to shake off. And if you can't have that person validate you to the point of being like, you know what, I'm not using you. Or I'm not going to cheat on you. Or I'm not going to hurt you. If you don't get that validation from someone, then you are going to expect it. You're going to constantly be thinking, it's going to happen again. It's happened before, it will happen again. What makes this person any different? And it's the same with friends. Because once you get used once, or taken for a ride once, the problem is those people will then like be like, oh yeah, so and so will do it for you. And they'll wean you out completely just because they know you're an easy target. That's the dangerous people you need to stay away from. They are the people where you literally have to take a step back and be like, I don't want this life. I don't want that type of person in my life to fuck me over, either themselves or with other people. It's mad, especially if you change who you are after being who you are. By the way, meaning a better person. This is the point. Because you guys change for the better or change for the worse. And I've always turned around to anyone and everyone and said, anyone ever asked me to change, unless they have a fucking good reason for it, like maybe something I'm doing is dangerous, I won't change for no fucker. Do you know why? Because why should I? Well, no. Because why should you? Why should you have to change who you are just to be validated or respected by another person? Oh, sad Marvin movies. Are you one of our haters? Because if so, my moderators are going to kick your ass because I'm not going to read out that blooming comment. But just be careful, because if you love too hard, if you give too much of yourself, trust me, it will come back and bite you. And it will hurt. Who should get in your car, the Batman or the Joker? Definitely not the Joker. I don't do clowns. I love to stream. Are you Irish? I'm not Irish, no, I'm English. Fruity. Ah. Yeah, it is fruity. It is Blue Raz Gummy Bear. Boy, hello. And JW's racing. I'm guessing you like vaping too, yeah? Then Alex says, I know what it's like. I have fake friends. In primary school, I had a friend who was a friend I had ever since nursery. Years later, my mum told me he said something mean about me behind my back. And it happens. A, needs a wee. And not good for you, mate. No, it may not be, but guess what? It's better than drinking. And right now, if I started drinking, I probably wouldn't stop. Can you let me out the boot? No, because you're not in the boot, you fucking idiot. And if you are, you've been bloody quiet for a hell of a long time, and that ain't like you. But genuinely, guys, like, we've done this stream today because I myself today have had a situation whereby someone basically messaged me being passive aggressive, and it's kind of like, unless you know the full story, I'll politely ask you to buy out. Because realistically, what you're saying is complete bullshit. Like, don't call me out on something when you ain't know half the story or you've only seen part of a scenario. Like, who do you think you are? Shut up, basically. And then don't come at me because you've seen a situation and been like, oh, well, he's being two-faced. No, actually, you've seen a scenario and haven't known the full picture. Put 2 and 2 together and come up with 26. Yeah, I can see it in the mirror. There's someone looking in their car. So it frustrates me when there are people who class themselves as your friends or a part of your friendship group who just love to get that big stick and metaphorically stir it. Because realistically, why? What are they gaining from doing that? I very much doubt it, mate. I think you'll find they've finished work and they're going home, or they've been to the gym or some shit. So either keep on topic or be quiet, please, mate. Respectfully. But yeah, honest to God, right? I don't really know why people just don't use morals no more. I don't understand why they feel the need to suddenly just be weird. Because there's no need for it. Like, why can't we all just get on? Because realistically, we're only here for one life. Nobody knows how long or short that life's going to be. And the irony being, those ones that like to stir the shit pot are most likely to be the ones that are stood at your graveside or at your funeral, going, "Oh, he was such a good friend. Like, we're gonna miss him so much." Blah 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 blah. And then within 3 weeks, completely forget who the fuck you are. The ones who like pretend that they're breaking so much because you're not around anymore. But the realism is, they didn't give a fuck in the first place. So why do they really care? Answer: they don't. They make out that they do, but they really don't. I had a girl who started being friends with me in year 3. One day she said to me she does everything for me and I do nothing for her, and she literally made me cry. I was 8 or 9 or 10 at the time. This is the point. And the thing is, life needs to be give and take. And I suppose in certain situations, if someone feels that you're not giving as much as you're taking, or even vice versa, you're taking more than you're giving, those people will start to pull back. But the weirdest thing is, if you are the person who is giving, and the other person's taking, you can bet your bottom dollar the person taking will never be the one that goes, enough's enough, like, next time I'm going to pay for the next thing or whatever. They don't do that. Do you know why they don't do that? Because then you have to validate them. You're the one saying thank you. And they like to be the one who literally hold like those strings. They like to be the ones who like to feel like they're in control, who literally have you either wrapped around their little finger or in the palm of their hand. So when they literally turn around and say jump, you are going to turn around to them and say how high. But even then, those sort of friendships have disappeared. Gone are the days where you could literally turn around and be like, I can rely on that person for anything. Or if I phone them at 3 o'clock in the morning, they're going to answer. Like, realistically nowadays, how many people do we know that would actually like, who would do that? Because the reality is, not many. There's very few people I know that if I rang at 3 in the morning would actually answer and be like, what's up? To be fair, I'm the same. If I'm asleep, don't ring me because I ain't going to answer you. Even if I'm awake, 9 times out of 10 I won't answer because most people tend to ring me when I'm flipping busy doing something else. But truthfully, toxic fake friends are real. They are a real thing. And yeah, it's painful. Really painful. Because when you wean them people out, realise who those people are, you're like, shit, I actually thought we were best mates. Or, fuck, I've given that person so much of everything and they've just literally walked away completely unscathed. And I talk to you from personal experience, guys. Like, and I'm on about even reasonably, like, recently. 2 years ago, I said goodbye to an ex of mine who to this day still owes me in the tune of about £18,000. And yeah, I know for a fact I'll never see that money again. This is the thing. Was happy to keep taking to their heart's content. But then when you stop giving, or they turn around and be like, yo, can I have some money? And you're like, no. Boom. They walk away. Because they're not used to you saying no. And the problem is, the more that you start saying yes to someone, the more that you're literally there for every single beck and call. It gets harder and harder and harder every time to say no. So the follow on, Alex says, I didn't expect her to say that because she never told me she didn't feel like I was doing enough. She just one day shouted at me. She shouted what I told you in the previous message. Yeah, mate, I completely get it. And the thing is, when people start shouting at you and this sort of stuff, again, they're not doing it to like knock home a message to you. They're doing it to then get attention from other people, being like, oh, I've done all this shit for you, you've done fuck all, blah, 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 blah. Because they don't want the validation from other people. Because maybe they weren't getting that validation from you anymore. And this is again the thing. If you're constantly getting having to beg for validation, or if you're constantly chasing people, begging people, then either have a word with them and be like, look, what is going on? What is our situation? What the fuck is happening between us? Or simply walk away. Or do it privately, but like, look, this is the situation. I don't feel like we're working as friends. Like, what do we do? Where are we going wrong? Don't stand there shouting it in front of people, like in a massive crowd, so you get an audience and all this sort of stuff, and people can validate you and go, oh, there, poor you, like you can do so much better. Fuck that. Like, do it in private. Allow that person to actually give you a reason as to why they're behaving the way they're behaving. Because let's face it, if you've got to do it in front of an audience or in front of a crowded area just to make yourself feel good, you're a toxic person. Kian, hello mate, how are you doing? And toxic people, again, just thrive on that negative energy just to try and get a little bit of validation and a little bit of positivity. And it really is sickening in this day and age. And it's becoming more and more apparent and more frequent and just more of a thing. And I don't understand why. I was literally sad for the rest of the school day. I told my mum about it and she cheered me up. By the way, she shouted at me in the playground. Exactly my point. There you go then. Doing it when there's an audience and there's people around just because they want to get that validation from other people. So that then they can potentially go and do the same thing to somebody else and not feel bad about it. You don't need that sort of toxicity in your life. You don't need that level of negativity. So in the whole dating game, yeah, the amount of people that turn around and go, oh, I can't show my face, or I can't meet you today because I look rough, blah, 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 blah. Well, actually, realistically, why does it matter what you look like? Because sooner or later, I'm going to see you looking rough anyway. One of these days, like, I'm going to end up like spending the night with you, waking up the following morning and being like, fuck me. Yeah? But the reality is simple. If you can't accept someone at their worst, you don't deserve them at their best. The same with this channel, right? We don't make that money from here yet. But you can guarantee when we do, certain people will come out of the woodwork. My ex probably being one of them. Oh, you're successful now, you're making money. Like, I want to talk to you. I want to be part of your life. Nah. Because where were you for the last couple of years when I was struggling? Where were you when I was at the pit of a fucking barrel, not knowing where my next 10p was coming from? I'm not going to be interested in you, not making money. Are you off your head? And it's those little seeds where they suddenly get wind of like, oh shit, you're successful. I want a part of that. Nah. And you know what? That is the hardest no to turn around and say to someone as well. When you've been in, like, especially if you've been in a relationship with someone, like an actual like loving or so-called loving relationship with someone, and they've walked away and left you when you're absolutely down on your ass with nothing. And then when they realise you're suddenly successful, they come out of the woodwork and be like, I think we need to talk. Or maybe I was too hasty to walk away from you. Maybe we can try again. That is the hardest no. That is the hardest person to turn around and be like, fuck you. Some people say when it comes to an ex-partner, it's the easiest thing to do, but it really isn't. Like, granted, I actually generally find saying that to a friend is far harder than saying it to an ex. Kian, my day's been alright, thank you, my friend. Alex says she is also the same person who ruined my birthday by being rude to my mum and my sister. I invited her to come to the bowling alley. I literally said to her, stop ruining my birthday. And so you should. Because again, what gives someone that right to have that authority, that control, and that much power to fuck up someone else's special day? Nah. You're not a friend at that point. You're just someone who's just there for a free day out. Fuck yeah. You ain't important. You ain't special. Do one. Alex, as you are my moderator on the show tonight so far, my friend, though, can you please give me a subscriber count, please? But the sweet thing as well is I can see that obviously this or tonight's conversation, tonight's show actually is striking a chord with so many people. For the simple reason that like the amount of likes we've had in such a short space of time just goes to show that people clearly do agree with what we're saying. And that hits hard. Because you know what? It's all very well and good doing like, you know, the easy laid back and, you know, the funnier streams, etc., or the funnier vlogs and the funnier shows. 543. Cool. But at the same time, sometimes it's the real hard hitting ones that really make the difference. The ones where you come away from there going, shit, that was deep. Or that guy actually speaks some sense. Like an absolute wally in the rest of his life, but do you know what? On this one occasion, actually speaks sense. Luke Shepherd says, sometime let's get hyped UK. Okay. Well, do you know what? Let us know where you are. We might come and visit you, get hyped with you. Why not? If you're in the UK, let's do it. Have a little collaboration. Maybe we can get you on the channel. Because you know what? There is a lot of shit in the world. There are a lot of people that will happily like do that behind your back, but be your best friend to your face. Thankfully, I'm quite lucky. To the point that most of the people that I know genuinely or generally do not fuck me over. Not these days anyway. They used to. Like when I was younger, like in my late 20s, loads of people tried fucking me over. Because the job that I was doing, the money that I was earning, they were the fake ones. You know, the ones that will happily go out for go for a night out and this sort of stuff. Be sat on the table with you, see the credit card sat on the table, and then to go and buy everyone a drink on your credit card, but then make out it's come from them. Yeah, or be like, oh yeah, chuck us your card quickly. I'm gonna go buy this person a drink. Blah 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 blah. Cool. Yeah, you do that, but then just remember that it's me that's paid for that. And then the following time, when you don't give your card over, but guess what? They don't come out again. People just do it for themselves. You've got to keep moving. You're absolutely right, Luke, and I completely 110% agree with you. 110%. Alex, when I was in secondary school, I did have a boy in the year below who would say, you're ugly and you stink. I was bothered, but I didn't care. I wasn't bothered. Good. Because guess what? That's that really shit playground saying goes. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. It's true. Let someone slag you off. Because guess what? They're only slagging you off because they've got fuck all else to do in their life. Nothing else to give them validation. So I'd much rather bring you down than do anything else. Why? Because they think it's funny. Cool. Crack on. Do it. See if we care. Because realistically, the only validation you need is having the people around you who consistently show to you they want you in their life. They want you around. They validate you. They're the ones who are important. They are the people who you know you can rely on through thick and thin. Right? Yeah, good for you. So you should. You know what? Continue rolling your eyes. Because at the end of the day, go back and then kill that person with kindness. Because that really does piss people off. If you can show someone you don't give a fuck and just carry on about your day, do your own thing and just be happy, that is the sort of person who's like, there's no point fucking doing shit to him no more because you clearly don't give a fuck. Why are we wasting our time? By the way, Luke, whereabouts in the UK are you from, dude? But genuinely, guys, if nothing else hits you tonight, yeah, if you ever get that gut feeling that a certain friendship or a certain person is literally just taking you for a mug, trust that gut instinct, trust that gut feeling, and probably run for the hill. Because realistically, 90 times out of 100, that gut feeling is never wrong. And you're getting that gut feeling for a reason. And it may not be apparent straight away, but it will show itself. And when it does, you'll be like, that explains a lot. And yeah, it's hard. It's so tough. Like I said, like romantic relationships are the hardest ones to deal with when shit goes wrong. Because heartbreak is real. And if you ever wanted proof that heartbreak is real, all you had to do is watch Ozzy Osbourne's funeral today and saw the amount of grief stricken across Sharon Osbourne's face. That woman is a broken woman. And it just goes to show how deeply she loved her husband and still does love her husband, despite everything. And that's the sort of hurt you can't bring back. The sort of hurt that you'll never get over. No matter how much someone goes, oh, don't worry, you'll get over it. It gets easier in time. Fuck off, does it? No, it doesn't. But what does get easier is knowing that slowly but surely, one day you'll get there. One day you'll be a better person. And it does hurt so hard. Like I said, thankfully, I've been lucky recently. You might have the occasional person who might like to cause a bit of shit or etc. in like in a friendship or whatever. But realistically, most of my friends are pretty sound. You've only got to take a look at the people that work on this channel, whether they be a cameo presenter, a cameraman, co-presenter, or whatever. Like, they're decent people. Yeah, they might take breaks from time to time, but they're still there. I could bring your co-presenter tomorrow and be like, look, things might be great between between the whole situation right now, but listen, I need you. And it'd probably be there. I can almost guarantee that. When I was young, when I was in secondary school, someone who was randomly walking past me said, your mum is fat. And all I remember is my hand burning into, all I remember is my hand turning into a fist, but I didn't actually hit the person. So that's good. Mary Under of Knot says, hey, Sugar Britches. Hello. How are you? But bullying is a thing as well. That's, and so that's a completely different ball game, right? Having someone bully you is very, very different to having a friend literally like use and abuse you. Thankfully, people don't tend to use and abuse as much, but I say the lack of morals in this day and age is scary. The lack of validation that certain people will give you throughout your life, again, is scary. The fact there's a cat on that roof is actually mental, but there we go. Joys of ADHD. Just see a random cat on a flipping shop roof and you're like, that's actually nuts. 25 past midnight on a Thursday morning. But ladies and gents, we finally made it to the end of the month. God knows how, but there we go. One of the hottest Julys on record as well, but there we are. Thankfully, it's cooled down a peg or two, which is quite nice. But also, ladies and gents, we are literally 7 subscribers away from our target of 550. If you enjoy these sort of shows or these sort of like conversations, etc., and you really want to help a small-time YouTuber hit their target of 550 subs before they get to their birthday next month, please do smash that like button, hit subscribe, and come join us. My next door neighbour's cat sits in my garden sometimes. Cheeky, innit? Just letting himself in their garden and just sitting there going meow. I'm not sure it'd be more freaky though. Opening your curtains in the morning and finding a cat sat there, or opening your curtains in the morning and finding like your best friend sat there. You'd be like, what are you doing in my garden? What's going on? To be fair, I'll probably throw something out the window and like, what the fuck are you doing? It's a ginger cat. Oh yeah, definitely throw something at that then. Yeah, 100%. Just can't imagine though, folks. I literally sat opposite a gym and the amount of people going in there this time of night is actually insane. Right. It's midnight and people are still going to the gym. Why? Who the fuck goes to, like, what's the point of going to the gym this time of night? Actually mental. So, folks, if nothing else on tonight's show, I hope there's been a few things on here you can take away to maybe really make you think about someone's behaviour towards you. So, for example, if you do so much for them, but you literally feel like you're getting nothing in return, maybe confront them about it and be like, listen, like, what's going wrong here? What is the situation we're in? Why are you happy to take shitloads of stuff from me but give nothing back in return? And it's okay to ask those sort of questions. And if that person says it's not okay, they're probably the ones to watch out for. I was often told as well during COVID, the people that turned around and said said the phrase, it is what it is, but the most dangerous ones to look out for. But personally, I disagree. I think it's the ones who literally like a nicest pie to your face, but slag you off to the hill behind your back. And unfortunately, in this day and age, there's a lot more of those people around. And it is worrying. But as long as you remain strong, as long as you completely stay consistent and knowing like know your own worth, that's the most important thing. Know your worth. And look out for those people who actually do give you that validation, who do give you that respect, who do treat you with morals, who do treat you with integrity, respect, care, every day without asking for it. Because friends 9 times out of 10 will. But a narcissist won't. And my ex, for example, was probably the most textbook example of a narcissist I've ever come across in my life. The only problem being, because I was in a relationship with him at that point, I didn't notice that. I didn't work out how much of a narcissist he actually was until we'd broken up. And that was the point of being like, do you know what? 90% of his behaviour was actually complete narcissism and was just completely toxic. And the worrying thing is, when you're around a narcissist, when you're around a toxic person, you find yourself becoming toxic. And it's not until then you start meeting decent people, you start realising how wrong you've been for so long. So take my ex-partner and your co-presenter of this channel, right? My ex was a complete narcissist, right? Very narcissistic. would always demand everything, would give very little back in return, and was an incredibly toxic person. But then take your co-presenter, right? Take Connor. Decent, genuine, kind and caring and hardworking, right? And he quite often point, like, especially back in the early days, would point out and be like, do you realise how toxic you just sounded? If I was having a conversation on the phone with someone or something, it'd be like, no, it's quite passive aggressive. I was secure enough in our friendship to turn around and be like, boom. And it then helps you to then unwind and make yourself completely untangle yourself from that narcissistic behavior. I know my dad got me takeaway food and stuff, but sometimes I felt like I was giving more to him. He was always saying horrible things about my mum to me. But again, that's for validation. That's to make you like your father more than you liked your mum, by making her look bad and putting her in a bad light. And unfortunately, especially relationship breakups, it happens all the time where parents play their kids off against, like, one off against each other. The whole good cop, bad cop thing happens all the time. It's sad and it's shit, but unfortunately it does happen and will continue to happen. It's bollocks, but yeah, it does happen. My parents got divorced before I was even born. That's sad. Hang on, your parents got divorced before you was even born. So is your dad even your dad then? Because a divorce takes like 18 months to go through. Do they get divorced? Or they separate. There's a big difference between the two. But genuinely, hopefully a lot of you now will like maybe spot or be able to spot that toxic, narcissistic, wrong type of friend a lot sooner. So you don't spend months and months and months going through the heartache of being like, why is this person not validating me? Why are they not giving me like what I require from this person? And you know what? Someone turned around to me once and was like, is it okay to ask for like there to be ground rules and stuff in a friendship? Of course there is. It's more than okay to put down boundaries and like rules and stuff in a friendship. Don't think that's just reserved for relationships, because it's not. You are more than entitled to turn around to someone and be like, right, look, I refuse to be treated like X, Y, and Z. I will not stand for this, that, and the other. It's like I've always turned around and said, if I'm in a relationship with someone, if you cheat on me, beat me up, use me, or steal off me, you can basically do one. And it's kind of true in friendships as well. Like, I'll happily wind up a friendship with someone who hits me, uses me, or treats me like shit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's my dad. My oldest sister is the one who doesn't know if my dad is her dad. She thinks he might be, but she's not 100% sure. Oh shit. That's crazy. Just trying to work out how your parents got divorced before you were born, bearing in mind the average, like most divorces take on average 18 months to go through, and yet a pregnancy is only 9 months. Maybe I'm just being a retard, but yeah. But folks, this has been a very short grind for a Wednesday night. I appreciate it has been a lot shorter than usual. However, we will be back on late Friday night, so probably about 10:30 Friday night, as we are having a family day away on Friday. But we will be back. But for you guys right now, it is 1:25 on the 31st of July 2025. We'll be back on the 1st of August. But from me to all of you, this has been Linden TV. Remember, miss it, miss out.